Welcome back. In America overnight, the thoroughbred industry celebrated the running of the Belmont Stakes, third leg of the US Triple Crown. Strike the Gold won the Kentucky Derby and Hansel picked up the Preakness. Who won the Belmont? With that report and a roundup of all yesterday's racing, it's a very big welcome to Johnny Tapp. And before we get into that, Tappy, while on facts and figures and winners and losers, mate, do you realise that 23 years ago today you began your career with Channel 9? How'd you feel then?
Yeah, you're right, Max. It was on this program, or the equivalent thereof. It was then called World of Sport. And my first appearance ever on this show was on this day in 1968. And I remember it very vividly because I looked at that thing there and the red light came on and, you know what...
Like an ambulance, underpants get a little bit tight. Mate, you look like a 2-year-old.
Good on you,
Take
son.
us away.
Mind you, I was only 11 at the time. Well, the two horses you mentioned, Max, Strike the Gold, winner of the Kentucky Derby, and Hansel, who won the Preakness Stakes, very fittingly fought out the finish of the Belmont Stakes at the Belmont course in New York in the early hours of this morning, our time. And in fact, they put on the tightest Belmont finish since Affirmed and Alydar fought it out way back in 1978. Let's go to Belmont, where there was a huge crowd, and this was the scene.
There's Hansel, the Preakness winner. The Irish horse, smooth performance with Michael Kinane. He has one win in one start in the Belmont, and Strike the Gold, the favorite. Scan toward the inside, takes the early lead. Corporate Report up to challenge early with Hansel between them, racing in third. On the outside, Subordinated Dead is fourth. Another review quickly moving through along the inside. A long run to the first turn here at Belmont Park. Absolutely last in the field of 11 is Strike the Gold. He's about 20 lengths off the lead, down the backstretch. It's Corporate Report on the inside, in front by a head. Hansel on the outside, second by 2. With Scan racing third at this point. Main Minister is fourth, the Irish horse. Smooth performance, moving through steadily on the inside, fifth. Subordinated Dead on the outside, and then Green Alligator along the rail. Strike the Gold is now making a move from the back of the pack. As they move around the far turn, a half mile to the finish. Hansel on the outside, taking the lead along the inside. Corporate Report. Now Scan is right there with the leaders. Those three are tightly bunched. It's 2.5 back to Main Minister racing fourth. Strike the Gold is fifth and moving on the extreme outside very boldly. Quintana is next as the Irish horse drops back a bit. As they move now to the top of the stretch, Hansel on the outside. Corporate Report along the inside. Scan is next. And as they straighten away in the stretch, here comes Strike the Gold on the extreme outside. And another review has pulled up at the top of the stretch. There's a furlong to the finish. On the inside, Hansel has the lead. Strike the Gold on the outside. Coming on, Main Minister is racing third. Down the stretch and to the wire. Hansel on the inside. Strike the Gold on the outside. Hansel holds on to win it by a head with Jerry Bailey aboard. Strike the Gold last in the early going. Flying through the stretch to finish second, and I believe Main Minister was third. The final time, 2 minutes and 28 seconds, and that's well on the records here in the Belmont. So Hansel proved who was the real Hansel in the Triple Crown, winning not only the Belmont Stakes, but winning the Preakness earlier this season. Hansel, the unofficial winner of the Belmont.
Yes, very reminiscent of Affirmed and Alydar fighting out the Belmont finish in 1978. That very elated owner was Joe All-Britain, who happens to own a couple of television stations in the United States. The trainer is Frank Brothers, and the jockey is Jerry Bailey. After he won the Preakness on that horse, he got a Chrysler motor car as his part of the prize. What do you think he did with it, Max? He took it back to Chrysler, got the money, and donated the money to the Injured Jockeys Fund of the USA. That's the sort of bloke
That's
Jerry Bailey is. I hope he wins a lot more races. All right, from Belmont on Long Island to Belmont in Western Australia, and a sensational incident in race 6 yesterday. Now, about 100 metres from home, apprentice David Caterino found himself with a slipping saddle. Caterino parted company with that filly Rising Class and still managed to retain second placing, beaten half ahead. Now, the stewards were of the opinion, and it was a great piece of officialdom, that his feet were not touching the ground at the precise moment he hit the winning post, which means the horse carried its correct handicap weight over the line and he was allowed to retain second place. Congratulations to the stewards on some quick thinking. Now we go to Eagle Farm in Brisbane, where the Derby was the first of the big ones yesterday, and at the top of the straight it's Shane Dye, who can smell a big race downwind at about half a mile, driving Dorset Downs through on the inside to take the lead over Triscay, who's obviously feeling the pinch of a very strenuous campaign. She's gone. Little Lee's Bid is running into second place, but is no match for Dorset Downs, a big strong gelding, and kept going to the line by Dye. Dorset Downs comes away to give Tommy Smith his 35th lifetime derby in all states of Australia. Congratulations to the little master. Dorset Downs beat Lee's Bid, and Moods a very distant third, about 6 lengths away. Very few horses win major races with such consummate ease as Rough Habit won yesterday's Stradbroke. It was almost laughable. Let's pick him up on the turn into the straight, where the horse is at least 8 horses wide. Jimmy Cassidy wasn't at all concerned about going via the Cape. Now, Euclase is well and truly beaten off halfway down the straight. Look at Rough Habit on the outside, just closing very fast on these leaders. Barossa Boy in the white blinkers in the centre is running on gamely, and St Jude, running his usual honest race from a fair way back, is going to get second. But look at this one go. Rough Habit, who won the Derby last year, he just revels in the ground. He's a real mudlark and comes away to win easily over St Jude in a sensational Stradbroke performance. That was the big one there, and Barossa Boy was third. Now to Randwick in Sydney, a heavy track, but a fairly uniform heavy track, because they were winning on the inside, they were winning on the outside, and I don't think punters mind heavy tracks as long as there's some degree of uniformity. Race 5, the Markview Handicap, 2-year-old colts and geldings, and this was a winning double for Ron Quinton, who's been in very good form of late. Now, Star Portrait in the middle is just the leader, but Cabora grabs it quickly on the outside. On the fence, Enjoy Dancing is starting to feel the weight, and in 4th place under heavy pressure is Tightwad, but it's all Cabora who draws away to score a very easy win, this son of Crested Wave, trained by John Morris, and Cabora beats Star Portrait, Enjoy Dancing third. There is the official steward's head-on patrol footage. By the way, if you'd like to see more of that, Hoyt's television services have a weekly video called Track Talk, which shows head-on footage for all states, and become a subscriber, and that video will be delivered to your home on Monday by Hoyt's Television. The June Stakes, race 6, and this bonny Canberra mare, Miss Comanche, kept her great record intact. I think she's won 13 races with something like 13 minor placings and about 260,000 in stakes. Now in the straight, and it's River Love fighting it out with Burrendar Boy on the inside with the black cap, but here comes Miss Comanche, Wayne Harris timing his finishing run to a nicety. Now watch closely here, she wants to just go in for a stride under pressure. Harris has got to put the whip away, straighten her up, he does that now, and she draws away to beat Burrendar Boy, and the Cavalier has run third just in front of Generous Prince. Now let's watch the official head-on footage, Miss Comanche and Burrendar Boy fighting it out. Miss Comanche just wants to drift in for a stride, but no harm done, and she scored her 13th win. Many sports interviews are a little on the bland side. Doesn't matter whether you're talking to jockeys or javelin throwers, horse trainers or heptathletes. The questions and answers on many occasions are predictable. And this was a refreshing one yesterday that Ken Callender did with John Morrissey, who trains the winner, Miss Comanche. A very interesting little racing interview.
John Morrissey, you've certainly got Miss Comanche firing at the moment.
Yes, Ken. She's done a great job. You know, we put blinkers and pacifiers on this time. She's been such a nervous and hard horse to train that I think it's done the trick.
It's a bit of an effort, you tell me, getting to Randwick to race her here.
You need a drink when you get here. She just rocks the float. You got to bring a little pony in the float with her, and you can't take her on a truck. You got to do it yourself. And by the time you get here, she's, you know, you're all uptight.
I believe you've got a very good strapper to help you out with that horse.
Yeah, Bob Bink, he was a very good racing car driver. He nearly got burnt to death, and he's an animal lover, and he works for me, and he just looks after. She's a full-time job, and I don't think anyone else could have done the job Bob's done with her.
And what goes for Miss Comanche now, John?
I would love to win the Remornie Handicap Graph more than anything in the world, so that's where we're hoping to go.
Your dad, who's still alive and is very sick, he won the Remornie.
He won for a horse called Fleck Marble, and I love to win it for him.
Good luck, John, in the race.
Thank you very much.
Good little interview with John Morrissey. Thanks, Ken. And the winning trainer of Miss Comanche comes from Canberra. Whenever he brings a horse to Sydney, if they don't win, they go very close to it. He's a remarkable judge, John Morrissey. Now we go to Melbourne. Do you think it wasn't raining down there at Flemington, where there was surface water spraying off their feet? And in the Royal Handicap down the straight, 1,100 metres, look to the grandstand That's where the action is, and they're all over the shop. Now, the big baldy face there belongs to Mamselle Purdue. Manitou is claiming her. Further out, Bay Regent. Now, watch the horse hard up against the outside fence. That's How Much, who literally sprouts wings in the last 50 metres. He tackles Manitou and Mamselle Purdue, and How Much finishes with a rush and gets up to win the Royal Handicap over Mamselle Purdue second and Manitou third. By the way, the horse in fourth place there, Bay Regent, was crowded for room near the line, and not only that, he twisted a plate in the run, so it was a damn good effort. Ken Callender is the president of the Rough Habit Fan Club and had some very, very heartening things to say about that horse after the Stradbroke Handicap.
When horses handle heavy going well, they often win by wide margins, but not when they race very good horses. However, yesterday in Brisbane in the Stradbroke Handicap, we had an exception when Rough Habit treated his rivals with absolute contempt. He strolled away over the 1,400 metre journey to win the Group 1 race with ridiculous ease. Now, the most marvellous thing about this win was that Rough Habit can also win over a longer journey. Last year, the New Zealander came to Australia and he won the Queensland Derby over 2,400 metres. Now, I want to give you a tip about Rough Habit. He's trained by a man who knows how to win big races called John Wheeler, who won the Cox Plate with Our Poetic Prince, and I reckon that he's got his eye on some big Melbourne riches with Rough Habit. You chalk his name down, don't worry how good the opposition is, and just keep backing him while he's in Australia. And if the track's wet, you put about 3 times as much on.
Right, I'll do that, Ken, I promise you faithfully. Thanks, mate. Thank you very much indeed. Last week we introduced a horse to watch, and the horse in question was a 2-year-old by the name of Demi Dahar, which suggested you watch him at a distance around about 1,600 metres. I'm pleased to report he is in the first race at Randwick tomorrow, race 1, number 1, and if he doesn't win, I'll be very, very disappointed. Demi Dahar.
We'll keep our eye on him, Johnny, no
Okay,
doubt
mate.
about it. Look forward to next Saturday.
Nice to
Another
be with
big
you.
weekend.
Okay.
Johnny Tapp. Okay, meanwhile, make sure that you stay in the saddle, otherwise you might miss out on this. Still to come, we bring you right up to date with all the latest scores and results. Return to the lush fairways of Wentworth as Faldo, Romero and McNulty go for the dough in our great golf shootout. From Caesars Palace, Las Vegas, Troy Dorsey and Alfredo Rangel slug it out for the world featherweight title. And we look back in wonder at the extraordinary tennis career of Ilie Nastase. All that and a whole lot more, proudly brought to you by Ford.